Today I'm here to review for you another romance in the Saphire Cove series, which means it's time for book reviews after. Oh, wait, one more time. It's time for a book review after dark. Yes, I read Sapphire Spring. This is by C. Travis Rice, aka Christopher Rice. This is the second book in the series. I read the first book in the series, Sapphire Sunset, not that long ago. I would love to link to it, but apparently that's not a feature I have anymore. So just scroll down a little bit if you want to look at it, or you can go to my YT channel where I do repost everything that I post here. But I really enjoyed Sapphire Sunset. And when I posted my review, Carter, who knows a thing or two about butt stuff, I mean, he does videos on it, is what I mean. He mentioned how he liked the first book, but he liked the subsequent books even better. And I have to tell you, this second book is fantastic. As much as I enjoyed the first one, and I will still heap lots of praise on it, this second book is definitely another level above that one. In Sapphire Spring, Nasser, who we got to meet a little bit in the first book, is still working at Saphire Cove, and his sister is throwing a big event to try to raise money for a new accessory line that she is creating. But things get dicey when Mason Werther arrives at the party. Mason was a bully to Nasser, and it's no spoiler to say that Mason was a bully because of his feelings for Nasser. Mason is looking at this event as an opportunity to make it up to Nasser, to try to do better. Mason has his own issues. He's dealing with an alcohol problem and a father who's been verbally abusive his entire life. Nasser and Mason start about as far apart as you can get two characters and conceivably try to get them together. And the journey that they go through is kind of remarkable. Now, I could be revealing my inexperience with the romance genre in general, because I've read a few things. I've read a little romantasy, I read a few things here and there, or tried to read a few things that didn't click with me. So the depth of characterization and the subtlety with which those are drawn out and explored within this book kind of shocked me, because even with the first book, I thought there was some fantastic stuff, like actual real stuff in amongst the spicy scenes that I just loved. And it felt like a little bit of a revelation. But the way that this book deals with Nasser's heritage, his Iranian heritage, his mother and father, and the way that they related to him and the way that they related to their heritage after having to flee, the way that it deals with Mason's alcoholism, it's really just a cut above. There are times in this book I got misty-eyed, and usually it was at some moments between a parent and a child. Rice is really good at taking characters who you know who they are, you kind of understand. Like, for instance, Mason's father reminded me, even kind of vocally, because I listened to this on audiobook, which Rice does a fantastic job of narrating, by the way. But even the voice of Mason's dad kind of reminded me of Lois's dad on Family Guy. Is it Carter Pewterschmidt? Something Pewterschmidt, which kind of gives you an idea, if you're at all familiar with that character, of this type of character. Basically a rich asshole, through and through. A mean rich asshole. And the fact that he takes that character and provides such a three-dimensional reality around him. He does the same thing with Nasser's mom. It's beautiful. It's really, really well done. I may have mentioned this before, but spicy scenes are kind of like action scenes to me. If they become too much or too repetitive, I kind of zone out a little bit. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I did not do that here. I thought that the spicy scenes were very well done. But the thing that I loved about this book is the way it dealt with kink, a very responsible way of dealing with it, because it acknowledged that sometimes kinks may have some foundation in things that aren't great, right? There could be some trauma associated with it, and maybe that's where that happened, but it's not necessarily it, nor does that have to be a limiting factor. That there can be a very real, responsible wall between fantasy and reality. And I think it approaches this in a very mature and nuanced way that I enjoyed immensely. I really enjoyed my second visit to Sapphire Cove. I am definitely going to check out the third book soon, probably not next month, but sometime coming up soon. So if you are a relative newbie to romance, but are interested in it, interested in an MM romance that does have spice to it, I think this is a fantastic introduction, this series, Sapphire Cove.